Have you ever scrolled through your bank statement or investment account and feel that familiar twinge, the sense that no matter what you do, growth seems agonizingly slow? That progress is measured in pennies, not dollars, and that the clock is always against you? Most people glance at compounding and shrug, thinking it's something abstract, something for the patient or the lucky. And I get it. I've felt that same frustration myself. Here's the thing, it doesn't have to feel that way. My name is Rio, and I've spent more than a decade studying finance, psychology, and the subtle patterns that turn disciplined behavior into lasting freedom. I've lived through the anxiety of slow growth, and I've learned how a small, deliberate tweak can flip compounding from a slow crawl into a quietly unstoppable force. That's what we're going to explore today, a simple formula you can start applying immediately. Most people think wealth starts with income, or timing the market perfectly. They assume the bigger your salary, the sooner you'll be free. They think compounding is passive, distant, and boring. But that's not how it works. Compounding isn't slow. It just feels that way when you're focusing on the wrong variables. The key is not the amount you invest. It's how consistently and strategically you allow time to multiply it. I want to show you a smaller, often overlooked turning point. It's not a magic number, and it's not a sudden windfall. It's a threshold where compounding starts to feel inevitable, where each contribution, however modest, accelerates growth in ways you can almost predict. Imagine seeing $100 turn into $110, and then $121, and realizing that the next month, the math doesn't feel linear anymore. It feels exponential. That's the invisible threshold most people never recognize because they give up too early. Before that moment, every deposit feels trivial. Every market fluctuation provokes anxiety. Survival mode dominates. Scarcity distorts your thinking. You postpone contributions, or you obsess over short-term dips, thinking a few percentage points matter more than consistent action. But once the threshold is crossed, something subtle happens. Mental bandwidth returns. Decisions become strategic rather than reactive. Emergencies stop feeling urgent. Opportunities are no longer intimidating, they are actionable. Let's make it concrete. Consider a modest portfolio of $10,000 invested in a diversified index fund yielding 7% annually. If you add $500 each month, at first the growth feels almost invisible. You watch, you wait, and it's easy to think, this is too slow, this isn't worth it. But after a few years, your monthly contributions combine with accumulated returns, and suddenly, growth accelerates. That $10,000 doesn't just increase, it builds momentum, and each month compounds on the last in a way that feels inevitable. The formula is simple. Consistency plus reinvestment plus time. Nothing more. The psychological transformation at this point is profound. Decisions that once triggered stress now feel optional. A repair bill isn't a crisis. A career opportunity isn't a risk, it's a choice. Your identity begins to shift. You become someone capable of delayed gratification, someone who trusts the process and exercises discipline naturally. Your attention moves from daily survival to long-term design. Here's a key distinction. This isn't about obsessing over money. It's about control. Once compounding accelerates, your life-level decisions, housing, career moves, investments take precedence over coffee or lunch spending. You start seeing the difference between opportunities and emergencies. Stressful scenarios shrink, replaced by strategic, optional choices. Walking away money enters the picture here as well. With predictable growth, your posture in negotiations changes. Offers feel different because you're not desperate. Leverage becomes natural. Your confidence grows, subtly and quietly, because your foundation supports you. You no longer act out of fear. You operate from design. But here's the cautionary part. Reaching this threshold is not a reward. It's a seed. Lifestyle creep, the temptation to upgrade your car, your apartment, or your habits prematurely can erode the foundation you've built. Every choice carries an opportunity cost. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that could compound for years. Recognizing this without judgment is essential. As compounding continues, the math starts to feel like momentum, almost gravity. You notice it more in hindsight than in real time. $10,000 plus $500 monthly contributions might feel modest at first, but after several years, those deposits have grown into a portfolio producing meaningful monthly returns. And with that financial stability, your mental energy shifts. You no longer make decisions from scarcity. You make them from intentionality. This shift is psychological as much as it is financial. The contrast between survival mode and growth mode becomes clear. Survival mode is frantic, reactive, and short-term. Growth mode is deliberate, strategic, and patient. In growth mode, you can focus on compounding not just your money, but your freedom and your capacity for long-term planning. The identity shift goes further than money itself. You become someone who approaches risk calmly, who navigates uncertainty with discipline, who exercises patience naturally. Small mistakes or market dips no longer provoke anxiety. They are simply data points for adjustment. You gain confidence in your decisions because you trust the system you've built. At this level, big decisions outweigh small ones. Housing, career, transportation, and investments scale with your priorities. Coffee spending doesn't matter. What does matter is the foundation you've built and how each choice reinforces it. Your attention moves from short-term, reactive decisions to strategic, life-level planning. It's important to emphasize that the acceleration of compounding doesn't require luck. It requires time, consistency, and reinvestment. Each deposit, no matter how small, contributes to the momentum. Each month, your portfolio grows not just from contributions, but from returns compounded on prior growth. That's the invisible engine behind the formula. And once it starts, the acceleration feels inevitable. By the time you notice real acceleration, the effect becomes almost psychological. Each month, growth compounds. Each choice, from reinvesting dividends to avoiding unnecessary expenses, reinforces momentum. The same financial events that used to create panic now feel manageable. Opportunities feel accessible rather than risky. Decisions scale with clarity rather than anxiety. And this is the subtle but powerful transformation compounding offers. You evolve from someone constrained by scarcity into someone capable of long-term planning, strategic thinking, and disciplined growth. Your decisions become intentional. Your freedom grows alongside your portfolio. And the mental clarity you gain allows you to see trade-offs clearly, without judgment or stress. Start today. Apply the simple formula: consistent contributions, reinvested returns, and patience over time. Observe the invisible threshold. Let compounding accelerate quietly in the background. And when momentum begins, recognize it not as luck, not as a reward, but as the inevitable outcome of repeated, deliberate action. Because one day, you'll look back at your portfolio and realize that compounding never really moved slowly. You were just watching it before it gathered momentum. That realization, that quiet understanding, feels like control. It feels like freedom. It feels like a life that is designed intentionally rather than dictated by circumstance. And your future self, the one capable of deliberate choices, calm reasoning, and strategic thinking, will quietly thank you for every contribution, every reinvestment, and every patient decision that built a foundation for lasting momentum.